years, boy. It's what you harder at the ice out the neck. It's what you harder at the ice out the neck. When I'm in my zone, bitch, I get my respect. Call me Bumpy Johnson.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Texas Sports World. We are your hosts. I'm Ethan. That is Isaac, and we have much to discuss today. There has been some crazy talk on Twitter regarding CJ Stroud and the Houston Texans, and I've seen some really weird schedule predictions that we're going to get into. Also, are the Rockets officially out on Kevin Durant? We will find that out in the next 8 days because they're going to try to probably get it done before the draft, and that's going to be, here pretty soon. And after the oh shit, look, the man himself. We have a special guest who's going to join us today. My Uncle Shane is going to pop in. We're going to discuss a whole bunch of stuff. Let's get him in here real quick. Yo,
What's going on?
what's going on, my guy? You doing all right?
Dude, I'm doing good. How are y'all?
Pretty good.
We're here to cuss and discuss, have some fun,
Let's fucking go, dude.
Yeah, that's like, see, he's got the wine, I got the whiskey. Isaac, you're the only one missing out here, man.
HEB brand Coke.
Yeah.
So we are going to start with, let's see. So we're going to start with how do the Texans stack up in the AFC? Because I've seen some crazy talk regarding the schedule and kind of how that's going to work out. Plus CJ Stroud, I've seen some weird stuff there. And then also, are the Texans out on, or not, are the Rockets officially out on Kevin Durant? So we're going to have much to discuss. But first of all, how are you guys doing today? Are y'all having a good week so far?
Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm in the military, dude. My life sucks most days, so
That's pretty. That seems fair. Seems accurate. It seems
yeah, I've
pretty
been up
crazy.
since 3 a.m., so it's been pretty sweet.
This is the
Yeah.
first time I've ever met him or seen him.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, way younger looking than I thought he was going to be.
Thought I'd be old, dude? Come on.
I thought you were going to be at least 75 years old. That was
At
my
least-
that was my guess.
Thanks, dude.
Yeah, that was-
75
Math
is-
tracking.
75 is crazy.
That is
Yeah,
nuts, dude.
Let's do it this way. I like this way better. I like this way
Oh,
better.
yeah.
So, I guess let's start with, I want to know kind of where you guys see the Texans kind of coming up this year. Kind of want to get your thoughts on the schedule. I've seen some stuff get thrown around there about CJ Stroud and stuff like that. So, what do you guys think? What could be the next step for CJ Stroud and his evolution? And what could we see from the Texans coming up this year? Shane, you can go first.
Dude, I like the addition of Nick Chubb. I think
Yeah.
our run game is going to be a little bit stronger this year. I think it's going to help hopefully give CJ Stroud a little more time, a little more patience in the pocket, and at least start completing passes like he was his rookie year. And I feel like it's going to help us move the ball.
Do you think that he might have been playing with an injury towards the back end of last year? Because he was missing throws that he didn't usually miss.
Yeah, I mean, you could say that, but like, who doesn't get injured? in
That's
the
true.
NFL?
I mean, Matt Stafford gets hurt every year and continues to, throw no-look passes and, play pretty well. So we can't really put that on injury. Isaac, what are your thoughts on kind of how the Texans are looking coming up this year?
I think I'm still nervous about the offensive line, and I'm not super high on the receiver room because there's a lot of rookies that we had to rely on. I like the Nick Chubb signing, but I'm a Dameon Pierce guy, so
Yeah, we got a
I
big
really
game.
didn't want him. Yeah, really didn't want Nick Chubb to sign with us like at all.
Yeah, I feel like we didn't really use Dameon Pierce last year like we did in the years prior, though, and he
Yeah,
was more kind
I-
of like a utility man.
I agree, but I think I don't know if you know his stats from last year, but he averaged like 7.3 yards per carry on like 40 touches. But that's besides the point.
Yeah, I mean, weren't most of those touches against the Titans at the last game of the year?
So
He
we
had a good game against New England, and then he had a good game against New England. He rushed for like 75 yards or something like that. And then he went the next 6 games with a combined total of 4 carries.
Yeah,
Which is like
So-
that's so crazy to me how he played good one game, and then instead of trying to get him involved more in the offense, we were just like, yeah, we're good, bro. Just go ahead, just do your thing. And
I mean,
then
we were giving Cam Akers touches before we gave Dameon Pierce
over
touches.
Dameon Pierce. Like, that shit was so crazy.
So like it is. So do you think is it kind of the collective opinion that Bobby Slowick and the way the offense was ran was a lot of the reason why Dameon Pierce didn't play and or wasn't, effective as he was in years past? Kind of what are y'all feeling on this whole because I've seen a lot of interviews lately. Nick Caserio went on Sports Radio 610, I think, and basically said that there's a lot of differences in this year's offense compared to last year in the sense that CJ has a lot more power. So do you think that those combinations of things you could see more of a and Nick Haley comes from New England where he had the three running backs that he kind of shuffled in and out, so he's familiar with that. So do you see maybe a decrease in Joe Mixon's carries, and maybe it's kind of split three ways a little bit, not evenly, but does do we see those three guys kind of come together and play as a unit rather than Joe Mixon getting a bulk of the carries? Is that kind of why the Nick Chubb thing happened? What do you guys think?
Personally, I think Joe Mixon, I think he's nursing an injury, which is kind of the reason why we signed Nick Chubb in the first place, just to manage that, or if he is injured, Joe Mixon, then we have a backup or at least a running back one to put in there that's not Woody Marks or Dameon Pierce. But I also saw Titus Howard came somewhere and said something about how Cole Popovich is one of the greatest or best offensive line coaches that he's ever had, or something like that. And he's super high on him. And the mindset around the whole offensive line has changed, and all this nonsense that they were saying last year. So hopefully what he says is true this time, because I think that'll help the running game a lot for everybody, not just Joe Mixon. But I do think Joe Mixon's probably going to see less carries than 300 last year was crazy, and he's pushing 30 now. So, and he's on an injury. So I think the Nick Chubb signing was more of a depth thing and a safety valve more so than just us wanting two really good running backs in the same running back room.
I can agree with that. I kind of also feel like last year signing Saquon Diggs, we definitely went more receiver heavy and tried to influence the pass game a lot more. And I just feel like with the two running backs, it's going to change that dynamic quite a bit, and not as heavy on the pass game. I mean, I'm still kind of nervous about that. Yeah, we added Kirk, but I only see us having two solid receivers, and that we'll see how that goes.
I think go ahead.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. Everybody's saying we're supposed to have really good, the pass game is supposed to get back on, and it's supposed to look really good. But we're rolling out there with Nico Collins and Christian Kirk, who's all of our Nico Collins and Christian Kirk are both injury prone. And
because if it's one thing you can bet on, it's Nico Collins is going to miss a few games.
Yeah, and Christian Kirk has shown pretty much he's probably going to miss a few games. And then we're relying on Jaden Higgins and Jaden Knoll, and those two are rookies. So, you can't really be they're going to be good, because we don't know. We've seen elite receivers in college come into the NFL and suck. So,
yeah, definitely. I'm really hoping Minchie kind of steps up a little bit more, too.
You and me both.
Yeah, this is going to be his second kind of full year. You can't kind of consider – was last year we consider kind of more of his rookie campaign. So, I think he's only going to get better, too.
Well, Xavier Hutchinson, I think, he's been pretty good for us. So there's that, but I do want Mechie to kind of lock it in right there.
I don't know. He's the word on Kirby is that he has a really hard time catching footballs, and it's kind of your job to be a receiver and catch footballs, So I'm not sure. And do we have the time to kind of wait on him because at the end of the day, our top three receivers are Nico Collins, Christian Kirk, and Jaden Higgins. Outside of that, there's not a whole lot of, like you said earlier, last year we went super receiver heavy. I think
it would have worked if no one got hurt,
It would, yeah. I mean, if Diggs and
Tank Dell,
if they can play, a full season, and there's no telling Tank Dell plays this year at all, because he had to get a whole brand new knee.
Well, hold on that, because Tank Dell on Instagram has been real active about talking about being back sooner than everybody thinks, and all that, kind of almost hinting he's going to be back this year. So I don't know. We'll have to see.
Who doesn't say that, though, coming off injury in the NFL?
That is true. Why is this doing this? Yeah, that is true.
But I hope he does. I hope he comes back soon.
Yeah, so do I. Well, I think that's kind of what the Jaden Knoll situation is. I think we drafted him kind of to be a backup to Kirk, but also to be a Tank Dell replacement.
Yeah, right on. I can get behind that.
Are you doing this on your phone? Because I can email it to you if you want to do it on your computer, if that'd be easier.
Yeah, I don't have a camera yet. I got the microphone and the headphones set up. Just don't have the camera yet.
Okay, no worries.
Up
Okay,
my game a little bit.
no worries. Okay, I was just making sure. I didn't think about that before I sent you the
Hey, no
invite.
worries. We'll figure it out. Next one, I'll be good to go.
For sure. So another thing that I found interesting this offseason that I've talked to Isaac about this before, but apparently what Nick Caley and CJ Stroud are doing is they're watching more film from like 03 Brady and like the old school Patriots type of deal. And what was kind of mentioned in that was that Tom Brady is not the greatest thrower of the football. He's more at that point in his career anyway, he was more surgical. And I would argue that CJ is more of a gifted passer at this point in his career than Brady was. I don't know if that's a hot take, but it feels like you could argue.
Might be a little bit of a hot take. I think CJ is more athletic.
Yeah, I think it's a hot take because we know who Tom Brady ended up being.
Yeah, that's pretty
No,
great.
but I'm talking pre-GOAT Brady, before Brady went and won all the Super Bowls.
CJ Stroud was getting a lot of like Tom Brady comparisons, just in like play style and like pure, because like he's one of the newer aged.
I guess what I mean, right? I guess what I mean by that is Brady's not necessarily the strong arm. Brady's not. They're not. He wasn't throwing the ball 60 yards in the air. You know what I mean? Like that in that sense. So what I'm trying to get at is I think that there's going to be a lot more of the intermediate pass game, a lot more of the quick pass game. Maybe with the running game going, you throw in a little bit more of an RPO action, and that in and of itself may help the offensive line hold up a little, and that in and of itself may make the offensive line better. If the scheme is better, if CJ has control, because there was stuff coming out that CJ would see something, but he couldn't do anything about it. Now, I know that's maybe not all the way true because, you're a quarterback in the NFL. If you know how to fix it, then maybe just do it. But like ultimately, rumor is he didn't have much power to make changes at the offensive line, mainly because in the Coop Shannon system, a lot of the offensive line calls comes from the center. It doesn't come from the quarterback.
Right.
But moving to this system, it's a lot more of a quarterback driven system in the sense that CJ can now go in and make different adjustments, and that in and of itself, along with the different types of passing system, different types of passing game, may make the offensive line better. And maybe it really was just a system thing. What do you guys kind of feel about that situation?
I'm not buying it. I mean, I do think I think Bobby Slowick, I think it's kind of like well known that he was pretty much like a dictator in the sense of like it had to be his way or no way, which is crazy coming from somebody who's like a first time play caller or really young in their play calling career. But I'm not buying the fact that CJ Stroud couldn't do anything. Like he was getting killed out there. I think at a certain point he'd just been like, fuck it, I'm going to do what I got to do because I'm not about to keep getting sacked every play or at least getting pressure on him every play. So maybe it'll be a little bit better. I think if the pass game can be a little more consistent, then that'll open up the run game. It seemed like Bobby Slowick was very run first and then just try to take a deep shot off of play action. Right. I think Nick Caley's more so like intermediate within like 5-yard passing and then kind of like run the ball on first down, get 2 or 3 yards, pass it for five yards, and then you can kind of open it up and go wherever you want to go from there. So a little bit different. And I did read somewhere that Nick Caley's a little bit more motion heavy. To kind of get some information from what the defense is going to do. And I think if it is true that CJ is going to be able to call protections from the line or kind of divvy up some of his resources and what he's able to do, I think that'll help. But for the most part, I would just have to see it with my own 2 eyes, and I'd have to see it work out because I'm not super confident.
Right on. Yeah, I kind of look at it from a little bit different perspective. I mean, Slowick came from the 49ers before that. He didn't have like a solid quarterback, but all the pieces that they had in was it 2023 season. Mm-hmm. And then Nick hasn't been like an offensive coordinator yet, right? For an NFL team, at least.
No, he's been a tight ends coach.
Yeah, but he's worked with a couple of pretty good franchises. I mean, New England. I don't know. Was he there when Brady was there?
Yeah, he was there. He was there with Nick Caserio. He's one. And Brady.
So went with Brady, and then over to the Rams. Yeah. I don't know. He's worked with some pretty talented quarterbacks, so I think he's been able to learn a lot and kind of figure a lot more out. So we're going to see a kind of a new perspective. I feel like when you're first timer, like not everyone knows what you're going to do or how to like set up against you. So
for sure,
I also kind of feel that way about rookie quarterbacks that come in. No one really knows how to guard them yet, and then that's where like sophomore slumps come in big time. And that's kind of feel CJ Stroud kind of went through that. They threw some stuff at him that they kind of found his weakness from his rookie year, and he just didn't really know how to adjust fully. And then that mixed with Bobby Slowick, and not having all the same pieces that he had.
It was more like a collection of bad.
Yeah. Well, everybody was in their sophomore season, so everybody was going through a sophomore slump at the same time.
Yeah. I think they're real. I mean, I feel like kind of similar situation when Dak Prescott came in to the Cowboys. He had Ezekiel Elliott, who's also a rookie, but I mean, he tore it up his first year, and they killed it, and then there's that second year they kind of fell off quite a bit. But I think
Daniels does. Jane Daniels played really good last year, and now he's going into sophomore year. I want to see because I believe that. I do believe in a sophomore slump. I'll also say Bobby Slowick was. I mean, Nick Caley's way more highly touted and like well respected as a play caller, than Bobby Slowick was coming into his first year. So I think it's a little bit different in the first.
Yeah, interesting thing with Washington though, they had a lot of solid pieces, including coaching. I mean, wasn't Cliff Kingsbury was back into was he the offense coordinator or just the quarterbacks coach?
No, he was I think the Texans should have hired him the first time.
Dude, that guy's amazing with quarterbacks. Like look at what he's done with them, Mine is Kyler Murray, but he was like the head coach there. I think that's a little bit different than being able to just focus on one part of the
agree.
team.
I mean, it's kind of like
that was back when Kyler was still good. That was like
Kyler was still good. Yeah, the team. I just don't think that the overall team wasn't there for that. Sure. Kyler Murray's crazy.
Yeah,
I remember watching him. I remember going to the Big 12 the Big 12 championship game and watching him run stupid all over us.
Thanks
super
for bringing
depressing.
up that memory. That's tight.
Core memory, guys. Core memory. Okay, so I think we can kind of move on from the Bobby Slowick situation, Nick Caley versus Bobby Slowick. I think speaking of, I'm pretty sure Nick Caley could single-handedly beat the shit out of Bobby Slowick, but that's just me. That's just my opinion. So there's been a lot of discussion about CJ Stroud and your boy Bryce Young.
Who's your boy?
Your boy.
My boy?
Your boy.
Oh,
your boy.
That's not my boy. He stopped being my boy when he got drafted, but I feel you.
Wow, dude. Hell yeah. Love that.
So there was somebody on Twitter started this rhetoric, started this discussion about how he believes that post week 8 that CJ I just said his name. Bryce Young, there we go. Bryce Young was more efficient statistically, therefore is going to have a better season in this coming up year.
A lot of people are hot, man. A lot of people are hot on him. They think he's going to continue what he was doing that last was like 4 or 5 games, but we'll see.
Aren't they on is this their second year with the head coach?
I'm not sure, man. I do not care enough about Carolina.
I can't remember if they fired.
They fired
Wright.
I think it was Frank Wright. Yeah. And then they've kept the same guy.
Canales, right? Canales or whatever his name is.
2 years, yes.
Okay.
And I'll say this: CJ Stroud and Bryce Young have been in the league for the exact same amount of time, and he only played better than CJ Stroud for 4 weeks. So
we're just going to completely ignore. We're going to completely ignore that he got benched for his first half of his career.
And I do think Bryce Young will be a good quarterback.
Sure.
I think he's been a good quarterback since college.
But I would argue that he might have the same quote unquote slump that CJ Stroud had, because as soon as he starts to get good, these teams are watching those games now. These teams are gonna For whatever reason,
I think that's a bad take. I think they've already had film on Bryce Young.
they had the bad film when he was already just playing bad under a bad team.
Yeah, but
a lot of bad things happening.
They don't just ignore the bad film and be like, "Oh,
I'm not saying
just
ignore it, but I'm saying Carolina found something right in those last 4 or 5 weeks.
They got some momentum.
They had some momentum. Now he's going to have to go and duplicate that for 16 or 17 weeks. You know, CJ Stroud is now in his 3rd year starting. Like, he hasn't come off the field outside of being injured for a couple of games.
But I will give Carolina the benefit of the doubt. They saw how bad their team was when Bryce Young got drafted. Obviously saw something in him worth investing in, and they fixed the entire team around him, which is a plus for them. So, like, Carolina's not a bad team. I will give them that. They've gotten a lot better. They didn't have the luck or they didn't expedite it as quick as we did in Houston and got it figured out year 1. But I will say, like, there is a comparison there between the two and who could be better. Like, it could be like a back and forth kind of conversation. I think CJ Stroud's better, but I do think there will be weeks where Bryce Young goes crazy and then looks way better than CJ Stroud. I'm not saying he's better overall.
Maybe.
Am I crazy for that?
What do you mean by when you say better? Like, what do you mean?
What is your what is your definition of better?
Like, the Ravens game is kind of my floor for what the Houston Texans can be. Whenever we got embarrassed,
38-2 or something.
Yeah,
in front of Beyonce, crazy.
Nobody played good that game. So, and Bryce Young could go out there and win his game and look better than CJ Stroud. I like CJ Stroud's not invulnerable to having bad games or bad weeks.
Sure,
a couple of bad weeks.
But
I'd argue the back half of all last season, CJ Stroud didn't look great, and Bryce Young did look better than him.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, you could also argue back half of the Texans last season like I was saying earlier, we went receiver heavy, and that's when our receivers started getting hurt, and we didn't really have much of an offense.
Yeah,
it was kind of like a seesaw effect.
I don't really think this is much of a quarterback debate as it is a roster debate.
Team debate. I agree.
Whatever team is playing better is going to make the quarterback look better.
And going on to my next point, we're talking about a Texans defense that's going to be a top 5 team in the league next year, easily. Top 3, probably, if we're being honest. I mean,
probably top 2, not 2.
Probably top 2, not 2. Because, I mean, we play in an AFC South where you're going to have a Daniel Jones who, granted, he's looked good by all accounts this offseason at mini camp and stuff like that. But you're playing a Daniel Jones, or you're going to play a Trevor Lawrence, who you haven't lost to since 2017, or you're playing a rookie quarterback in Cam Ward. So, like, we played all 3 teams twice. So that's 6 games right there that I think are pretty close to easy wins, if you ask me. Now, obviously, we lost to a Will Levis led Tennessee last year.
Yeah, and it was close. It was close to a Anthony Richardson led Colts team in week 1. Like, we almost.
We don't even. Yeah,
I got a hot take, man. Tennessee. I went to a couple Tennessee games last year. They weren't that bad. They were in a lot of those games until Levis did something really stupid, like throw a pick 6 4 games in a row. And then, like, the fourth quarter.
He almost hit the match stop.
Just fumble, like, just underhand throwing it to the linebacker or something. It's like, dude, come on, like, they were in those games. They weren't getting pooped on or anything.
I'll go off of your hot take with another hot take, and I think Cam Ward is not going to be a good NFL quarterback.
I mean, I personally don't think rookie quarterbacks, like, you start a rookie quarterback right away with a team that's not developed, they don't have a solid track record. You'll get one every once in a while, but I'll give it to Cam Ward. He's gotten better every single year he's played. I mean, moving up from, what was that? I can't remember the small school.
Incarnate Word, I think. Was it like
Incarnate Word? Yeah. And he's just gotten better every year. So I don't think he's going to have a solid rookie campaign. I think the Texans have a fairly solid team, but they're missing a couple other key parts.
I would argue this is for Cam Ward, against Cam Ward. Like, he's going into it, like, he transferred from bad school to better school to bad school to better school in Miami and ended up finishing in Miami, which was way better than all those teams he played for. I think he's getting drafted into a position where this might be comparatively the worst team that he's played with.
Right.
Like Miami is better than Tennessee is as a NFL team.
Yeah, I mean, are we starting with Incarnate Word on that one, or?
Yeah,
No, I'm saying he moved on from them and got.
Yeah, he did. He definitely did. Yeah, I think he's gonna have a tough first season for sure. I think he's gonna have some. I think he will be able to prove himself in some ways, and I think he's gonna grow into a good quarterback. I do not see the Titans doing super well this year, but I think they're gonna continue to build around him and have eventually next 2 or 3 years they'll be able to compete.
Yeah, I agree.
Are you a Titans guy? Are you a big Titans guy?
I mean, I live right outside of Nashville now, so it's on the radio, man, on my way to work 30 minutes every day. You know, I go to the games, I drink some beers. A little bit of a Titans guy right now. It's a little fun.
Titans guy.
I like rooting for the underdog.
Well, that's like rooting for a dog that doesn't have no legs or eyes or teeth.
Yeah. Hey, there's some Texas Longhorns on the team too, so those are kind of more of the guys I cheer for.
That's fair, I guess.
T-Sweat, baby.
Yeah, he killed it last year, man.
Yeah,
he was a dude. Their defense isn't bad there, man. They just don't have like a receiver or running back.
Tennessee's never had a bad defense. They've always been pretty. Like we poach a lot of their defensive guys. I think more than most people realize. Like we love to get Tennessee Titans former.
Remember back in the day, it used to be the Ravens. We used to like
the Ravens used to get all of our guys.
Yeah, we got Jacoby Jones, or we had Jacoby Jones. They got Jacoby Jones. They had Ed Reed. We brought in Ed Reed. You know, there was a couple other dudes around there that kind of just made that trade.
And then we were big Patriots guys for a little bit in Houston.
Still are big. Rex Burkhead. We went out there and played with Rex Burkhead as our starting running back. Danny Amendola.
Hell yeah.
We were out of there. We didn't know what the fuck was going on.
We had a team full of all of our skill players were white guys. That is a problem, sir. You can't have all white. I'm about to make a really bad joke.
Yeah, you can't say that. You know what tomorrow is, man. Come on.
That's true. That is true.
What's tomorrow?
Dude.
Classic Alabama guy.
Classic Alabama guy. I'm gonna let you sit on that. I'm gonna let you figure that out.
It's a federal holiday. That's why I'm on the call right now, because I got tomorrow off.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay.
It took him a minute, but he got there. It took him a minute, but he got there.
It's all right. It's new. It's only been around 2 years federally.
Federally. I'm about to say, I'm pretty sure it's been around for hundreds of years, but federally, 2 years.
I mean, the day since the invention of the calendar for sure, but.
What the fuck? Oh, man.
Oh, man. Okay. Well, before we move on to the Rockets situation, because I feel like that's going to be coming to a close rather shortly, is there anything else regarding CJ Stroud, Texans, AFC South that you guys want to get into?
What do you guys think the record's going to be?
Oh, that's what I want. Go ahead. Go ahead, Isaac.
I think 10-7. I've seen 10-7 from a few people that I trust. When I say trust, I read their stuff.
It can't be 10-7, dude. It cannot be 10-7 again.
10-7 again. I think I don't want to give win-loss, but I'll say I think our ceiling is 12 wins, and I think our floor is 9.
9?
Yeah,
pretty high floor.
Yeah. Well, I mean, listen, we cannot get worse than what we did last year. We went 10-7 last year.
Have you seen the Texans' schedule?
Yeah, there's winnable games. There's at least 12 winnable games on that. Like I think we beat Kansas City. I think we beat the Broncos. I think we almost beat Kansas City in the playoffs. That team does not scare me anymore as much as like Ravens were for sure probably not even going to score a field goal. I think we sweep all of our divisions. So like that's six games right there. And then I think we play the Chargers. We can beat them. The Bills, we beat them.
You think we beat the Bills and the Chiefs next year?
I think we easily beat the Chiefs. I guess that's my hot take. I think we easily beat the Chiefs.
I mean, you got to also remember it's in Kansas City in December.
It's fine by me.
That's insane.
All right,
I
man.
don't know. I don't know about
There's a reason those
easily.
cold weather teams always make it, man.
Houston can be considered kind of a cold weather team. It gets chilly down here, like high.
We have an
60s.
indoor stadium, dog. What are you talking about?
Yeah, but it still gets chilly outside. They got to practice in the, like 30s, 40s.
I
Okay,
think pretty sure there was a game in Kansas City last year where like 18 people got frostbite and hospitalized or something like that.
Maybe our guys need a little frostbite in them. So maybe that's not a bad thing.
I guess you can't argue with that.
I'm not scared of Kansas City as much as I am like Baltimore. I think
Okay, so let's take a look at this because this is an interesting discussion here. So,
dude, that's like not that bad.
let's go week by week. Okay, week
win.
one.
That's a win.
Week one. You think we beat the Rams in week one?
Book it.
Shane,
You gotta realize.
I don't know. I'm kind of 50-50 on that. Game one wins are always,
you guys gotta
it's a
realize
way.
The defense that we're coming in there with.
We got to see. Maybe I got to do more research on the defense. I'm kind of 50-50 on that game, honestly.
It's going to be hard for teams to score on us. I don't think we're like, when I say we're winning games, I don't mean by 2 touchdowns or like we're blowing teams out. But our defense is definitely going to win us games that we probably offensively shouldn't have won.
Well, can Aziz Shahir stay on the field without punching people and laying people out for no reason? We'll find out.
Like I think we start the season off 4-0 before the Ravens.
Yeah, I mean that if we beat the Rams and then we got Buccaneers at home, I mean, speaking of that, quarterbacks that were hot, Baker was hot last year, man.
Yeah, Baker was
As
hot.
much as I'm not a Baker fan, I played football and basketball against him in high school. Not a Baker fan, but he was hot at the end of last year. Most of last year, actually.
That'll be a good one because that's kind of like CJ Stroud's welcome to the NFL game. Not really welcome to the NFL, but like his that's where he became who he was against Baker Mayfield.
It's also a Monday night game in Houston.
Yeah, Houston's pretty.
Oh wait, it's Monday night, not Sunday night.
Beyonce better be there. That's all I'm saying.
No, she's bad, Jude. She's bad.
Liz, you cannot be there. The last time she was at a primetime game, we scored 2 points. We cannot.
Dude, that's one time. Come on.
I'm
not little-stitious. I'm superstitious. Okay.
I think we lose to the Ravens, and then I think we go
Seahawks. I gotta win. San Francisco.
I gotta win.
I think right now, I could see us being 1, 2, 3, 4, 4-2. To be honest, I could see a loss against LA. I could see a loss against San Francisco, but I could also see a win in both games. I'm very much like you said, Shane. I'm very much 50-50 when it comes to those two because LA is a good team. This isn't like a
legendary quarterback, and
he
launches the ball, man.
Devontae Adams, Puka Nacua.
Oh yeah, I forgot Devontae Adams is there now.
So that's still a good team over there. And then, San Francisco is still San Francisco. Brock Purdy just signed a major extension this offseason. Now, obviously,
I think that was a mistake, BT Dubs. I don't think he's as good as everyone thinks.
No,
Brock Purdy's so overrated. He's so overrated.
If that's a system quarterback, if I've ever seen one.
For sure.
Yeah.
I think we beat the Broncos.
I think,
Broncos. A lot of people have us losing to the Broncos. I have us. I don't think it's necessarily going to be a close game between.
I mean, what, Bo Nix sophomore slump? Is that what we're hoping on here?
Get Bo Nix out of my face. I hate that guy. He sucks.
He didn't really suck that bad last year, man.
I can't stand him. I can't stand Bo Nix. He's bad. Trevor Lawrence, we might go 17-0.
Yeah, that's what we call homerism on this channel. Homerism.
I'm so high on our defense. I feel like it's like we might not lose a game. Like it's going to be so hard to score against us outside of the Ravens. And maybe honestly, I think
the Ravens just signed. The Ravens
just got to tackle King Henry, and then we can beat the Ravens. That's kind of how I feel about that.
I think the Ravens and the Seahawks, we might go back-to-back losses right there, only because for some reason we can't seem to manage how to handle a mobile quarterback. And Jalen Milroe is not good, but if he can get hot running, I don't think we're going to be able to stop him. Much like Lamar.
That's what I'm about to say. I don't know about. I don't even know if Milroe is going to be starting for the Seahawks this year. We don't even know that's for sure because right now I think that there's been reports coming out that he can't hit the broadside of a barn right now. So like,
oh, that's common knowledge. I feel like
Yeah, he's never really had great accuracy.
yeah, exactly. So like, I don't know. I mean, what are they just going to run quarterback right, quarterback left? You know,
I don't know I don't know how much Alabama football you've watched. That is what he does. That's all he does is just run as fast as he can in a straight line to the end zone. That's all he does. And screen passes.
Yeah, I don't know if it's going to work anymore. Coming from one of the best offensive lines in college to
probably not
one of the best offensive lines in the NFL. We'll see. We'll see what happens on that.
And just more on the Ravens real quick. They just signed Jair Alexander today. So that gives them one of the best secondaries in football, much like the Texans. So they're going to have a good defense too. So it's really, that's going to be one of those like 17-13. It could be, I don't think it will be, but it could be one of those like 17-13. If we can hold Lamar in check and if we can hold, Derrick Henry in check, which is a big if, obviously. Yeah. Those two in of themselves could rush for 250, 300 yards.
I did not think Derrick was going to have that strong of a season last year, and he screwed me over in fantasy in pretty much every league.
I will say there's absolutely almost no way we beat the Ravens. I bet everything I own that we don't beat the Ravens.
I mean, they lost to the Browns last year, so
they are
they had a couple embarrassing losses.
I don't think. When was the last time we lost? I mean, we beat the Ravens. That's what it hasn't been in the past 3 years. I know that.
Who cares, dude?
I care. I hate them. I have so much hate in my heart for the Ravens. I hate the Ravens so much that I like the Kansas City Chiefs more.
All right.
All right. All right. Okay. So Jaguars, Tennessee, win. The Jaguars don't scare me. Sorry about it. I don't.
Yeah.
I mean, they don't, but they seem to always get like one win. It's always a split with them.
It is true. It is always a split.
It's a rivalry game. People get pumped up. I mean, everyone's an NFL player.
I mean, I think we haven't lost to them since 2017 or something along those lines. I would argue the Tennessee game right here could be is the Tennessee we always seem to split with.
Maybe that's what I'm thinking about.
We also always have a hard time beating the Colts.
Whether it's a home or away, for whatever reason, the Peyton Manning demons come back. We can't just exercise our Peyton Manning demons, and they just continue to do what they do.
Or Andrew Luck and who was the receiver that tore us up?
T.Y. Hilton, God damn, T.Y. Hilton
and Luck, dude, that was our kryptonite, man. They smoked us.
Yeah, it was.
And I've heard a lot of discussions about this Buffalo game. I don't really think that what's the Buffalo's quarterback? I'm drawing a blank.
Josh
Allen. Josh Allen. I don't know if didn't we run him off the field?
No.
Once before?
No, we barely beat them.
No,
we did barely beat them by a field goal.
I mean, we're lucky it's at home. I feel like, especially late November, because dude, it gets cold in Buffalo. But also, it's a Thursday night game, so you got to look at that.
True.
We played them primetime last year, I think, and we barely Jaime Fairbairn had to clutch us up and kick a walk-off field goal for us to win that game. Again, I'm going to say that I lied earlier. I think we also lose to the Bills.
Yeah, we'll see. It's tough going up against an MVP quarterback, man.
Yeah, for sure. After what his wife did in that movie,
what his wife said,
I think Josh Allen's. I think he's got some hate in his heart.
Specifically,
I think he's got something to prove.
Now the rest of the season, you got the Chiefs, Cardinals, Raiders, Chargers, and then the Colts away again. Or is that home? Yeah, Colts at home. Personally, that last 4-game run, I don't really see a struggle there. Maybe the Chargers. Maybe there's a Chargers struggle there. But
yeah, I mean, I feel like they're going to be pissed off about what we did last year, and I don't know. I don't think Justin Herbert's going to play that bad again, man.
Maybe I'm thinking of Justin Herbert when I was talking about the Bills. Maybe I'm thinking of Justin Herbert when we played, and
Played him in the playoffs, and he had like 5
Yes.
interceptions, I
Yes,
think.
yes,
I don't
we
think
ran
he's going to do
Justin
that again. That was incredible.
Yeah, I think Justin Herbert's good. I think we beat Kansas City. I think we beat the Raiders. I think we beat the Cardinals. That's outside of that. I mean, that's really it.
Okay. So yeah, I mean, ultimately, I think this is a 13-3, 12-4 type of team, because I think you could lose to LA, you could lose to Baltimore, you could lose to the Chiefs, but outside of that,
I mean, yeah, we could also lose to the Titans one game. We lost to Will Levis last year. We could lose to the Broncos, depending on how good Bo Nix is doing. They got a pretty solid offense over there.
Yeah, I think I'm kind of leaning towards 12-4, maybe 12-4. Even if we go 11-5, I think I'd be cool with 11-5. Just don't give me 10-7 again.
Yeah, we can't.
It's a 17-game season. You might want to check math on those numbers.
Sorry,
right there.
13. So it'd be 13-4,
13-4, 12-5,
12-5.
Yes.
11. So yeah, give me 11-6. I just can't see another 10-7.
Yeah, I think 11-6 would be fair.
Because like you said, I think we may drop one to a division rival. We may drop one to a Tennessee, and then you drop one against LA, Baltimore, Kansas City. But ultimately, it'd be kind of we need to beat the good teams. Like, that's what's so frustrating is like there's a lot of teams on this schedule that are weak that we just you could see the Texans beating. But when it comes to like a Baltimore or a Kansas City, it's like for whatever reason, we just can't get over the hump against the elite teams. And that's not a recipe for success if you make it to a playoffs. If you make it to that's why, we got bounced when we did. I feel like now ultimately there were a lot of injuries and stuff that came with that. But I'm hoping that if our defense can stay healthy, you add a CJ Gardner-Johnson, Kalen Bullock is on his second season. He should have been runner-up or rookie of the year last year, if we want to have that discussion. So like
with Kamari Lassiter,
Kamari Lassiter. So like the defense, you still got Jalen Petrie, who apparently they're working him as like a sub linebacker almost. So like he can, play close to the line of scrimmage where he plays best, where people were telling the Texans he should have been playing in the first place. And you're talking about a team that could be really good. Azeez Al-Shire is still out there. Henry To'o, Christian Harris. There's a lot
as long as he doesn't fight people anymore.
Exactly.
Good,
as long as for no reason. As long as he's not fighting people for no reason.
Feel bad for Trevor Lawrence, man. Come on.
Right.
He didn't deserve that.
It was so unnecessary.
I mean, to be fair, that was kind of Trevor Lawrence's fault.
Go down.
Yeah, I'm still backing my dog Azeez on that one.
Maybe just don't aim at his head next time. I don't know.
Sure, maybe a little bit, but you gotta get out the way when you see that. When you see Azeez Al-Shire coming down at you, you got to get out the way.
His name is A-Train on Instagram for a reason. Okay, he's coming at you like a train.
Magnet. Yeah, he's a CP magnet. You got to get out of the way for him.
So yeah, I'm thinking 11-7 is probably my go-to.
11-6. We need.
Thank you.
You'll get there. Don't worry, you'll get there.
Math is hard. I'm a college dropout for a reason. I can't math.
Hey.
Anyways, so yeah, I think that kind of wraps up our Texans discussion. I would like to get y'all's opinion. I know Isaac and I discussed kind of the Kevin Durant situation on our last stream, but Shane and I have gone back and forth for a couple of weeks about it. So we're going to kind of see kind of how we all feel about it. Let me go.
I'm gonna let y'all handle that for like 2 seconds. I'm gonna go use the bathroom.
Okay. Do that. Let me remove him from the remove. So basically, before I say something stupid, let me check something real quick.
As long as it's not math related, I think you got it, big dog.
Let's see. Hold on. Wait 1 second. Let me just make sure. So yeah, this is the NBA draft is literally in 6 days.
I'm pretty pumped for it. There's 3 solid players that I think are going to make a difference in the NBA going.
Yeah, who are your three guys? Who are your top three
Top
guys?
three. Dude, I can't remember the other two's names. I think one
Ace
from
Bailey?
Rutgers. Yeah, Ace Bailey from Rutgers, and the other guy from Rutgers. What was he? Power forward center, like 6'10". Those dudes can ball. But Cooper Flagg, dude. Cooper Flagg is, dude. Like that guy. That guy's like a better version of Chet Holmgren, just not as tall.
Yeah, and a little bit bigger, not as
not as skinny.
A little bit more physical.
Not to say anything bad about Chet Holmgren. That dude can ball for sure. He's hit some clutch shots. He's been a key part of the Thunder for sure. But Cooper Flagg, man, that dude can ball. He can bang. He can shoot. He can dribble pretty well. He can see the floor really well. That dude is just like an all around like utility player.
Yeah.
Solid.
Yeah, I agree. I was really hoping it was kind of a pipe dream, but I was really hoping we wouldn't even be talking about Kevin Durant if the ball would have just bounced differently. Because what makes it even more annoying is that it's Dallas.
Yeah, man, we could go down a rabbit hole right here. I'm not really happy that they don't show the balls anymore and they just announce it. I think that's pretty messed up. With Dallas, like the new owners of Dallas coming in and trying to put casinos, and then the argument saying it can't do it because it's a value of the market, and then all just magically, what's his face from Slovenia? The trade happens with Anthony Davis and him, and then now they get the first pick, dude, and like you couldn't even see the
and
the
now
balls happen.
and did you
like,
see
what's
today?
going on here, dude? Like,
did you see today that GD Bus just sold like half the stake in the team of LA just to now that team is worth exponentially more with Luka and LeBron, like it is definitely
a lot of money talks, man. That's all I got to say about that.
Yeah, you will never convince me that Nico Harrison didn't have a little under the table handshake, like, hey man, just make this happen and I promise we'll make it worth your while. You'll never be able to convince me that conversation didn't happen.
I just don't get how do Dallas only get one draft pick out of that, and Memphis just trades their wing player for like four picks and players. Like, what's going on?
And a pick swap.
Yeah, so and a pick swap. Desmond Bane, he's a good player, but he's not Luka Doncic.
Right.
Get out of here, man.
Desmond Bane and KCP and the other dude for 4 first round picks. That's crazy. Yeah, it's insane. It doesn't make any sense to me. So to kind of keep on it, I think, so Kevin Durant is an enigma.
Dude, saw his first college game. Look at what I just got framed. I'll show you guys Austin American Statesman right here from when he won Player of the Year. Got the newspaper delivered to my house.
Hell yeah, dude. That's badass.
However many years ago that was now.
That's badass.
I don't know. I think especially with the trade for Desmond Bane there, like it's only going to back up how many picks we're going to have to give up if we wanted him, all the trade potential. Like we have a solid young core. Hang on 1 second, guys. Sorry.
Yeah, do your thing. Yeah, I mean, with Kevin Durant, the price today is not the price last week. But go ahead.
I'm pretty sure. Like we're not. I don't think that people are our front office. I don't even think we're pursuing that much anymore.
I don't think we should. Personally, I think we have an excellent young core right here that we can only build off of. And we need to at least give it one more year before we start making any crazy decisions.
Okay, so
I've been preaching this to you for a long time now. I think Green, fantastic. Yeah, he didn't play well in the playoffs. It was his first time in the playoffs. That's all I gotta say. With a young core. I mean, not Van Fleet, dude. Come on, that dude.
Exactly,
that dude kept us in the game.
I know, but we're talking about Alfred Şengün, his first series. Jalen Green, his first series. Amen Thompson, his first series. Like,
okay, and we played Golden State, dude, and they just got Jimmy buckets. Like, yeah, he was injured.
Why are we giving Jalen Green the benefit of the doubt when everybody else played well? Why is it just him?
He played well one game. We'll give him.
30.
give him that. He has the potential. He can do it.
I think the trade talks would be way more like hyped up. Like I think we really would trade for somebody if Fred VanVleet didn't do what he did in the play. Like if Fred VanVleet didn't go off and get hot and go on a heater, and we actually got like almost swept like 4-1, I think we'd be trading for somebody right now. But I think Fred VanVleet almost saved Jalen Green's job because they were like, oh well, we almost won that series.
I mean, we really need to see what he's going to do with his contract before we can really say anything about him. He did go off in the playoff game, or the series, I guess, but like
less than 15 points per game for the whole year.
Yeah, I mean, we got to see what like he's willing to do for the team. I mean, it comes down to two things. Like, do you want to put faith in a franchise and potentially win a championship, or do you want to use your career and everything you've done and take the bag? So that's kind of like the point that he's at with this contract extension.
See, if I'm Fred VanVleet, though, like he's already got a ring. He doesn't like need a ring. Like he's not like one of those guys that should have a ring, like AI or whatever. Like he's got his own ring, so like he doesn't need.
He does, and he played phenomenal that whole that whole playoff run. Played really well.
So
turned it on when it mattered.
I think Fred VanVleet will work with us a little bit, but I don't think he's coming down to like cheap numbers. I think
he's got to come down to at least like 28. He's got to come down to like 28 or 30 because he's 43 or 42 million right now.
I don't think he's taking that big of a pay cut.
I mean, that's
the
only
like high 30s. I think we're talking like high 30s.
So he comes down like 6 or 7 million to 37.
That's better than nothing.
I'm not taking it then. Bye.
But you're gonna go pay KD.
Yes.
You're out of your mind.
What do we give? What do you think we give up for KD?
Everything. So much.
No, not at all. I mean, we hold all the leverage. We hold all the leverage. He wants to be here. Yes, he wants to be here.
Yeah, he wants to be with the Spurs and who else?
That's
Miami?
fine. That's fine. But we're on the list of places he wants to be. B, we have all the Suns' future capital in the draft. So if they were really interested in rebuild, because they're a second apron team, so they can't. They only have so much money they can spend or take on. So like, if they really wanted to rebuild, they could technically trade Kevin Durant, get their picks back, plus like a Jabari Smith, which I wouldn't be into. I would like to keep Jabari
Exit out.
Smith.
Don't want it.
But
don't want it.
Because they're already personally, if Jalen Green is what's holding the trade up, I'm okay with trading Jalen Green.
If we traded Jalen Green and
you got him itching his forehead,
dude, I don't like it at all. I don't like it at all.
Dylan Brooks, Jalen Green.
Get Dylan Brooks out of here. Let him keep the money. Brooks. That's what I think, dude. What the bad boy, the big defensive guru played. He played the worst defense I've ever seen in that series.
No,
not only that, when he was in the playoff series with Memphis, how did he do against LeBron? And what was he saying against LeBron?
Terrible.
Oh, he can't score on me, dude. LeBron, dude. He's
but he's must-see TV.
No, he's not, dude. Name one cool thing he did in the series. One moment where he stood up.
Oh, he almost got into a fight. He almost got into a couple.
Oh, okay,
fights.
Yeah, all right,
okay.
Between
the whistles.
Yeah, he's trying to fight the injured guy.
That's what I like to see. That's what I like. He brings good energy to the team.
Is that good energy or is it just dumb energy? Like, what are we doing?
A little bit of both, I feel like. I feel like you can't be good if you're not a little dumb. Look at Draymond.
I feel like Cam Whitmore can play just as well as he can on defense.
That's what I'm saying. You got to have a dumb guy on the team to be a championship team. Draymond's been dumb his whole career. And they went on a heater.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, and they had 2 and 3 of the best 3-point shooters in the league. Are you kidding me?
Like, Draymond won those games.
What are you talking about right now?
Draymond won them those games. That's my hot take. The prime Golden State Warriors aren't them if Draymond
he's kicking people in the nuts and throwing elbows at people's necks. Are you kidding me, dude? That's not basketball, dude. That is terrible.
Dude,
that guy is not good for the brand. That guy is
look
not
at every
good for the
NBA
brand.
championship team. They all have one dumb guy on the team.
Okay, name the dumb guy on OKC.
Let's go.
They're about to win the.
Oh wait. This year, my bad. I mean, SGA is kind of dumb.
That's also the MVP.
What are you talking about?
He's kind of dumb though.
What is he punching people in the neck? What are we talking about here? What do you mean?
Bro,
How many technical fouls does he have?
I honestly I haven't been watching the finals at all. I've been too caught up on Love Island over here. I'm on Love Island.
It's not.
right
It's
now.
not even the finals though. Like every series, Draymond Green is doing something
That's
so dumb that
because-
he gets kicked out of a game. Like against us, man, he had a technical foul and a flagrant foul, and I was like, how is he still allowed to play? He came back in the game.
Yeah, he should have been.
I had to look up the rule. It didn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, he should have been way out of there. I agree with you, but that's what you need to have. That was the most entertaining.
But Brooks doesn't even do that.
He's just
that's what makes it fun. He's just bad and
because
dumb.
he makes stupid tweets and like has terrible interviews. That's what you like.
Yes, you're missing the vision here.
I don't think there's any vision with that guy.
The vision is
I think we get him out of there and we put Cam Whitmore and sign another wing defender.
give me Cam Whitmore.
okay if we're being realistic, I guess, but that's not fun.
I'm trying to win a championship, man.
I'm trying to sell tickets. They need to hire me as a damn
Dude, try and sell. You want a baddie, dude? Let's bring Pat Bev in, dude. Let's bring Pat
give me
Bev
Pat
back,
Bev.
dude. I would
me
love
Pat
that. Put him in like 8 minutes a game. I would love that. Everybody would get
See, now
pumped.
hear me out. Hear me out. You bring Pat Bev, keep Brooks. You have them both on the floor at the same time. Now we're talking.
Dude.
Now we're talking.
You want me to rub my face, dude? This is ridiculous, dude. This is
Dude, now
terrible.
we're talking.
Oh god, that's funny. Oh man.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I like that.
I mean, okay. Now back to the original question. What I would give up for Kevin Durant, because like I said, we hold all the leverage, is I'm giving up Dylan Brooks, Jock Landale, their 3 first-round picks, and
I mean, you'd have to be Green or Şengün, or they're not making a deal, man. They're not.
give me Green. Yeah, give me Green, Dylan Brooks, Jock Landale, and their 3 first-round picks.
I'm not entertaining the trade. Like, I feel like the picks are enough for KD. Like, I feel like that should be enough.
But it's up to KD. He doesn't feel that way. He doesn't. This is all his. This is his ride. Since Brooklyn, it's been his ride, man.
Yeah.
Dude, I don't care what KD wants. He's going to come to Houston. He's going to be happy with the picks. That's what he's going to do.
I think he'll be happy because of the taxes.
Yeah,
Like,
sure.
Let's call him what he is. Let's call him what he is. He's a tax evader.
I love I love KD. Don't get me wrong. Big fan. Last few years since he went to Brooklyn, we can even put since he went to Golden State. Golden State, he made a solid career decision. He needs rings. Boom, got him. But then after that, he started trying to do this LeBron thing where he's creating his teams with Brooklyn. Yeah, they had injuries. But they were terrible. And then he went to Phoenix. They were terrible. Then they traded whoever out for Bradley Beal. Terrible. You can't. They don't.
Bradley Beal's coming off the bench now.
Yeah. Whatever, dude. At the time when they got him, he was killing it with the Wizards. That's why they pulled him. But that's a different discussion. I just think when you make a trade like that and you give up what you do, you lose a lot of facility players, a lot of your bench. You lose glue guys that you need, and you break your team down to like 7 people, maybe 8. And that doesn't do it, dude. That doesn't do it in today's NBA. Like look at the 2 teams that are in the finals right now. Thunder.
We don't have an SGA.
Not yet, dude.
Don't say Jalen Green's going to be that.
Don't
say
even.
Don't say that.
So
How long has Jalen Green been in the NBA?
He's
4
going
years,
on year 4. He's going on year.
How long has SGA been in the NBA?
Let's find
I
out.
don't know the answer to that.
He's gotten better every year, man.
I don't know the answer to that question.
He's gotten the Thunder. The Thunder didn't really. They did a unique thing where they just picked the best player that they could get. That's why you got like Chet Holmgren in there. They got lucky. They got a solid trade with SGA.
Who's the kid diddler?
The kid diddler?
Yeah, who's the kid diddler?
What are you even saying right now?
Oh my God, I think he plays for the Thunder.
Oh no, you're talking about
He plays for Chicago now. If it's that's who we're talking about.
You're talking about what's his name?
I can't He's
Curly
from Europe. He's from Europe somewhere.
Yeah.
Josh Giddey. Is it Josh Giddey?
Giddey.
Yeah. He doesn't
No,
play
they got rid of that guy. He's in Chicago.
Oh, good for him.
Good for him.
Yeah, good for him.
Oh my goodness. I mean, to answer your question, SGA has been in the league for 7 years. So like, okay, if you want to hold on to Jalen Green for 7 years, so be it. But the dude averaged less than 10 points in the playoffs, dude.
Okay, let's forget the playoff thing. Let's forget
We're talking 5 games, and one of those games he had 38 points.
7 games and what? Yeah.
Let's ignore the entire.
Was it? It did go 7 games, didn't it? Yeah. Okay.
Let's ignore the entire playoffs here. Like, how did he do regular season to get us to that point?
Thought he was pretty solid. I think he's getting better.
20-something points per game, didn't he? In the regular season?
21, 4, and 3.
Okay, now we're talking a different story. If he can push that to the playoffs, if he can just be consistent and do that in the playoffs, then I think we're fine.
It wasn't just the playoffs, though. It wasn't just the playoffs. It was the games prior to as well.
Jalen Green always had, like, since he's been in the league, I feel like there's been a common theme that he's just an inconsistent ball player. He's either goes for like 40 and then like the next game he'll go for like 15.
Let me ask you this. If you had a Kevin Durant in that situation, it's a completely different game. It's a completely different series. Because you
can't base the future of the entire franchise off of what could have been one.
Because we're still gonna have Amen. You're still gonna have Jabari. You're still gonna have Cam Whitmore. I mean, Cam Whitmore didn't really play, but
yeah,
just the two. I would say the future of our franchise is not Jalen Green. It's Amen Thompson and Alfred Şengün.
Well, I think the future is more of a full team, kind of like how the Pacers are doing right now. They have 10 solid players that can go in and play.
I don't even know if the Pacers are as good as people say they are.
Outside of Halliburton, have you not seen every single run they're losing by 19 with 5 minutes to go and they come back and win?
Great, but
I would say Ethan's always been a names guy. He always wants just the biggest name that you can get. For any sport, that's what he is. Ethan is a big names guy.
They were able to make those runs because of the depth they had. Their key players had the energy to make those runs in the end of the game. That's where those subs come into play big time.
I feel like our bench is not bad, though.
That's what I'm saying. We shouldn't have traded away. The whole team is going to grow. I think Reed is going to start getting a lot more points this next year. They dropped him down to the G League for a few games.
He averaged 30
this
points
year, and he killed it. Yeah, he's a solid player. He just needs more playing time, and he's going to get it. The only reason he's not is because Fred VanVleet.
I think if the problem lies with Jalen Green, we don't punish everybody else besides Jalen Green to make our team better. If the problem is Jalen Green, then just find a trade package for Jalen Green. I think that would be the answer to that question instead of trading everybody else away to get KD. If everybody feels like he's really that big of a problem in the front office, just trade him away. You can get compensation for him plus those picks that you have. You don't have to get KD to get good players out of Jalen Green.
I mean, Kevin Durant has never averaged less than 20 points a game, and he outside of 2 seasons, he's played 70 games a season on average. So, like, I don't know how you could turn down one of the greatest scorers to ever lace it up.
Say we get KD, but we trade so much of our bench depth, and then he's not Superman.
So if we trade Dylan Brooks,
the Suns don't want shitty ass Dylan Brooks. They don't want him. Nobody wants him. That's why he's here.
The Suns don't have a choice. They're up against it. They have to make a deal. They're not going to bring KD back.
They're going to send him to if we go out there and say, listen,
I don't think they're opposed to bring him back. It's KD that wants to leave.
If you go out there and go, we'll give you Dylan Brooks, they're going to say, San Antonio, what do y'all got for us? Because they're over here on some bullshit.
Yeah,
I'm not saying straight up, obviously.
No, yeah. They're going to have to trade Green and or Şengün.
Well, they were already talking about they wanted Cam Smith and Jabari. That was like Cam Whitmore and Jabari. That was like their whole first package, and we were like, hell no. And that now I saw somewhere that sources close to the Rockets front office that the talks are more dead than done because of that, because they don't really want to move on. Like, they don't want anybody else besides those two guys, plus all their picks.
I just don't listen. I don't want him to be. I do not want to play in a state where we have to play Cooper Flagg and Kevin Durant multiple times. I don't want to see that. That's kind of where I'm at. Maybe that's my thing. Maybe it's my. I don't want to play Kevin Durant in a game that matters.
How many more years do you think Kevin's going to play?
3.
Probably 2 or 3. But if you do make, maybe you're right. I can't tell the future, and I can't bet the whole franchise on the future. That's fine. But if trading Jalen Green gets you Kevin Durant, and Kevin Durant brings a ring here, I don't think we'll be that upset. But that's a big if. I'll give you that. But I think we have more of a chance with a 25 a night, 26 a night, 27 a night Kevin Durant than maybe a 21 a night Jalen Green.
Okay, so let me ask you, what if Jalen Green next year figures it out, locks in, and goes for 25 a game consistently all year?
If he honestly, I have such a sour taste.
That's not a far stretch. I mean, he averaged 21 this last year?
That's what I'm saying.
I
And
have
if he
such a
can
sour
do
taste in
that in the playoffs, we're talking about a whole – if Jalen Green – if we still lose this series but Jalen Green plays good, we're not even talking about trades.
Sure. But he didn't, so we are.
Okay.
It wasn't even like he played okay. It was really bad. It was really bad. Outside of 38 point, he averaged less than he was like 9.7 points a game.
Yeah. I mean, it got to the point where they weren't even playing him in like the fourth quarter in those games.
He shot 19% from 3.
But also we definitely went way more defensive heavy. I feel like in the fourth quarter, we had Amin Thompson in there big time.
We let the mouth of the South, dude, put up like what 30 or something on us, and like
we couldn't guard Buddy Hield for some reason.
I mean,
you called it. You called it too, because I remember texting you about that before the game, and I was like, "Is it Jonathan Kuminga?" And you were like, Buddy Hield," and I was like, probably right.
Only reason is because Curry draws so much attention, and then who's the next person that's going to draw attention? Jimmy Buckets. Even though he was hurt, he was still a threat. That left him open in the corner. Buddy Hield. He did it to Texas. I remember those series, dude. I hated it. He can shoot, and the only reason we were winning those games that we did is because he wasn't hitting 50% from three-point line. The games that they beat us, he hit over 50% from the three-point line. That was his only job the whole series.
Yeah.
And then Draymond Green kicking people in the nuts.
I think maybe let's just take Kevin Durant out of the situation, because maybe y'all are right. So maybe there's like we've talked about a Lauri Markkanen out there, because my main issue with the Rockets
that would be a crazy trade. When we talked about that, I can't remember who we were talking about trading for him, but I feel like if he can be not as injury prone and we trade like Brooks and Whitmore, I guess, and maybe a draft pick, which I think would be fair. He's a solid scorer. He's tall. He can help with some defense, but like just
our main issue
would be there.
Our main issue is we didn't have a consistent shooter from outside the 3-point line. Like Amin Thompson, he's not a shooter.
I also think Şengün, this might be a little bit of a hot take, I don't think he played that well. I think there were several possessions. I remember one was like last shot of the game, and we gave it to him, and he tried to post up on him, got pushed to the free throw line, and did like a one-handed like layup from the free throw line and missed it, and we lost or something like that. It might have been a half. I can't remember if it was in the game or it was like end of either half or the game, and I was like, "What the hell, dude? That dude was not." Yeah, he was scoring. We were giving him the ball a lot, but against my bad, not Jalen Green. Sorry, Draymond Green. He just wasn't. He wasn't producing. Draymond got in that dude's head big time.
Oh, dude, they were beefing like the whole series. I will also say it wasn't all Jalen Green played like shit. Like a lot of our bench wasn't able to produce either.
I mean, we don't have a whole lot of scores outside of that.
Sure, but do y'all remember whenever we were blowing Golden State out, we put our entire bench in, and then they almost came back on those guys.
Yeah.
From like a 20-point deficit. So, like, we can't just say, oh, Jalen Green sucks. We also got to be like, everybody really didn't play well in that series.
And I think one of the main reasons we hung in as long as we did was Fred VanVleet.
Yeah. If he doesn't go on a heater, we probably are out of that series way quicker than we would have thought we were.
Dude, that dude was pulling up and launching and making shots.
Yeah, he was banging them.
Yeah.
I can agree with that. Maybe. I think it really, if the deal is right and we don't have to give up too much, whatever that consists of, adding a Kevin Durant, I just don't think would hurt us. Obviously, it depends on what you give up.
Yeah. I mean, do you think signing Steven Adams to that ridiculous contract, it wasn't that much money, but like, did he deserve that much?
I mean,
He has history with KD. Was that a plot to
system.
maybe kind of draw KD?
maybe. I mean, I thought it was a good deal because he was going to get more money than that on the open market anyway. We signed him for less than the league minimum.
Yeah.
Maybe.
The veteran minimum anyway.
He doesn't have a whole lot of stamina anymore. He's a big body down low, and he can score if in the right situation, but he can't last the whole game, man.
But didn't he just turn 30? Oh, he's like 31 or something. He's like still fairly young though, isn't he?
Yeah, but when did he come to OKC? When he was 18. He's played 13 years of basketball. I mean, we saw what happened to Yao Ming.
Yeah.
Given that guy was playing in the Chinese league,
He's also like 90 feet tall and had bad ankles.
Because I mean, he played that's another rabbit hole we can go into another time. But that guy played 24/7 since he was a child. But I mean, Steven Adams, big guy, not very fast, can rebound, but he doesn't have the stamina to last for probably over half a game anymore. He comes in special situations.
Right. I don't know. I mean, I think he's one of those guys, like Steven Adams specifically is one of those guys, when it comes to the Rockets, they played better when they had a too big system going on, and he meshed well with Şengün. And I think that, even because you could argue that we were in a lot of those games because of Steven Adams too in the playoffs. That's you could argue that too. And I think you kind of have to reward the guy for that. And he was gonna get paid more in the open market anyways, and he decided to come back here. So I can appreciate that. And even if he only gives us 20 minutes a game, 24 minutes a game.
Yeah. I think we could use another big. I think we get rid of Brooks and Eason, and then we're talking, man.
Why are we talking about
a lot of people are high on Eason. I don't know why. That dude looks crazy.
Horrible. Yeah, he looks really bad.
Look extremely out of control. But people like him for some reason. We got rid of him and Brooks. Like, I don't know. Maybe we could get something like another big down low. I still think having Thompson and Whitmore, they could do just as good of a job, if not better, than Brooks on defense.
Yeah, I can see that. I think
they're both fast and strong. They can both help on the fast break as well.
Yeah,
for sure.
So I mean, we can wrap it up here. I'm assuming y'all are out on KD. Yeah.
Depends. I feel like if he decides that he wants to go for another chip and thinks he doesn't need that many picks, or if something happens and they don't need to take as much as they want to take right now, there's a chance. But yeah, I want to be into it, man. I think we just be too bare bones, and we want to be able to succeed as much as we wanted.
Yeah, Isaac, you feel the same way?
Well, I feel like if the price is right.
Yeah.
I don't like any of the mock trades that I see. I hate everything. Like, it feels like we're getting fleeced when they're in the worst position. So, like, I don't see why we're so eager to give everything up.
Because in reality, they still have Devin Booker and Bradley Beal. Now, Bradley Beal, we can talk about if he's on this fall off, but still, he can still score the basketball.
Yeah. It almost feels like in every trade scenario I see, like, we're dooming ourselves and then just pretty much handing them a future when, like, we're already on such a good track to be a really good team in 5-10 years. Like, I don't see it. It's not worth it for me.
I don't even think it's 5-10. We just finished second in the West.
Yeah.
Like, come on, dude.
Like, next 3 years.
We got a solid squad right now. We finished second to the people that are in the finals right now.
And
they're
going
to win the championship? Like, get out of here.
Yeah. I can agree. All right. Well, is there anything else that you guys wanted to touch on before we get out of here?
No, I'm good.
No? Y'all are good? We're good?
Appreciate the invite, fellas.
Yeah, no problem. Well, I guess we'll wrap it up here. This is Texas Sports World. I'm Ethan. That is Isaac. That is Shane. We will be back here on Friday. So y'all have a good rest of y'all's week. And, we'll see y'all in a little bit.
I ain't with that beefing on the net. Tell me what's next.